Chris Bristow.
Cory Kastle.
I wanted to start things out exactly by saying how grateful I am for all your time that you always give me. I always appreciate you wanting to share some knowledge and trying to help with growth, and anybody else who I witness you try to facilitate growth for. And I see that, and I want to acknowledge that it's awesome and it's
I
very
appreciate
appreciated.
it. You know what? So for everyone who doesn't know, my name Christopher Bristow. I was brought met Cory at DCW, and let's be honest, I shit the bed. I wasn't having a good night. It was just a lot on my mind, and there have been other things on my mind. But Cory here graciously just told me to take it on the chin. It's just a day. You're not allowed to be perfect. You know, you have to be striving for excellence, not perfection. So
Forgive me for not remembering, but what had happened? Is that something that actually happened? Did I say something like that to you? I don't remember that.
So in not so many words, that was the message of the story, but it was just more. I came down. Zach brought me in to do, the ring announcing and commentating at the same time, and then my cards, blew away because they were out back, and behind, in the locker room. And then my daughter was trying to help me, get that information real quick. And then they got all messed up in the order that they were in. So I was just fumbling over myself. So rightfully so, I shit the bed. But I at least got some things right. I put forth as much effort as I could that day. My equipment wasn't working properly. That was on part of, me not validating the equipment that I pulled from my business partner's house. And I should have checked. That's on me. I'm not going to blame anyone else. But
well, you got to let it go at this point.
I do.
You can't shoot all over yourself.
Well, no,
I'm just get rid of that shooting.
I'm just reflecting on.
I know. I'm just playing around.
I'm just reflecting on, like,
you sometimes can be a little hard on yourself, man.
I'm hard. I'm my worst critic, and there's a lot of times where I need to get out of my own way. But
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
You were doing the job you had never done before for the first time. Like, imagine had it gone exactly perfect for you, and then the next time you go to do it, it doesn't go exactly perfect, and you lose your shit. Like,
well,
it takes like some failing to figure out how to kind of navigate through it.
I've done ring announcing before for another company, so it wasn't off, not in my wheelhouse. It was a plethora of things that, with the sound equipment and the audio, and then the audio not working.
But it was your first time for that company. It was the first time. It was in that environment. All those factors added up to present to you the presentation that you're currently in, and that is somebody who's doing this for the first time, this exact way. All these particulars are going to add up to me shitting the bed. Yeah, you made some mistakes. That's what happens.
Yeah. So I tell my daughter, my middle daughter, all the time, because she's very hard on herself, and she's like insanely like, can't get this right, can't get that right. And I'm sitting here telling her the same thing the day after that event happened. Like, those chain of events happen. And I'm just listening to my own advice come out of my mouth. I'm like, mother effer, you better start taking your own advice. And that's when the following day I was just like, you know what? I'm good. I'm done. I had a bad day, and I referenced it right to her that I had a bad day, and it wasn't my best showing, but you don't have to be 100% all the time. So, and thank you for, giving me those kind of words. Just saying it's pro wrestling. Shit happens.
Yeah. I've seen far worse. You can't have spent as much time being around the independent wrestling industry and not seen far worse than what you were doing.
I've seen far worse, and my biggest thing is this, I've always wanted to. What can I do in my position to put everybody
Spilled
over?
a coffee, broke a shoelace. Smeared the lipstick on a face.
That's all you there, bro.
She left a note and said, "I'm sorry, I had a bad day."
Oh God.
I can't hit the impressive notes of Brett Scallions of Fuel, but dang, that was so cool.
he's got a register, man.
Yeah, he was a really he just had passion with his voice. I remember really liking his singing when I was younger.
I remember. I mean, I'm going to be 44 this year, so that puts me. I was born in '79, so I remember listening to Y100, doing that, and Fuel was heavily played on the radio.
Yeah, totally.
But
Fuel, it's funny. Like they didn't catch the wave that Nickelback got of the. It's cool to call them lame, but they kind of did get that a little bit, but they weren't as popular.
I think wasn't the lead singer of Fuel? Didn't he had? I thought I heard him having like cancer or something of that effect, and then he beat it, and came out of it.
That's not. I didn't know that. I didn't know his.
There's a reason why they were had such a hiatus for a little bit, because there was a long period of time between albums that they had. But yeah, I thought I heard that. I could be wrong.
But I mean, it's you ever see somebody and not realize they had a missing finger for like the first like few days that you've maybe known them, didn't realize they didn't have a finger. They had something like they had a digit missing or something,
like half a knuckle.
Right. Yeah. And then later on you'd be like, they would have a finger missing. This is the type of person who would have a finger missing.
Yep.
This is how I feel about that story. Yeah, that sounds like it's probably right.
I'm sitting here trying to Google it to see if it's true, and I can't Google that fast. Not anymore.
Will you swear there's nothing wrong?
I don't know if it's anything wrong. But
I'm just saying more lyrics from that Bad Day song.
I'm missing it totally.
She swears there's nothing wrong.
So, if you'll indulge me, please, I had
please feel welcome to be indulged. I don't. What's the tense that I'm supposed to use on this? A present tense? Indulge yourself? I don't. Yes, sure. Please indulge.
So in 2006, my second child was born, and for the lack of a better term, I was a selfish prick. Okay. And I'm not afraid to admit it, because, sometimes you have to be that person in order to learn. But I lost my job after she was born, was put on, got a severance, then end up divorcing my then current wife. So now I don't have my kids. I'm moving back into my parents. That's tough.
Yeah.
And I lost my job. Fast forward a year after that, I gained custody of my girls, and I took any job on the market. So I went from working at Circuit City to, yeah, that's a throwback, Circuit City.
So that's a plug. Like
and then
that was a very specific joke that that maybe two of the viewers who ever see it will
service is state of the art there, sir.
Yes. That's where that is the logo, and their service is state of the art. Yes.
And I took a job in 2007 at Giant, just whatever job I could find, because now I had my daughters with me, and I had to do that. Fast forward, what was it, 3 years? I went from there to Best Buy, worked there for 3 years, and then now got my current job at AmeriGas. And at that point in my life, me getting that job, I can honestly say saved my life. Like I was tired of not getting these promotions and just coming down on myself. And after not getting that promotion, that interview that I went for, not getting that promotion, I just said, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself. I reached out to Bristow, which is a contracting agency. And I was just like, you know what? Time to bet on me. And I did. And I now am celebrating 10 years at my current job. And if you look at it this way, I went from making zero in 2008, March of 2008, to now I'm almost cresting 6 figures now.
That's a climb, man.
That's a journey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And through that, it wasn't until 2015 that I also got out of my way in a more other respect. Met my now current wife. I had to, in 2014, I had to leave my youngest daughter's mom because of abusive tendencies on her part against my oldest daughter. And I'm sitting there 2 weeks. My youngest daughter is like freshly 2 weeks old. And this incident happens between her mom and my oldest daughter. And I'm just like, I have to make a decision. So at that moment in my life, to protect my oldest daughter and my middle daughter, I became a part-time parent to that child. It was rough for the first for the first year, with that scenario folding out. I don't really care about child support. I pay it. It doesn't bother me because I know it goes to her, and I see that she's she's excelling and everything. And then fast forward to now, I'm sharing screenshots where I'm playing Call of Duty with her. We play Warzone together. My 9-year-old. And she's just headsets on and everything. She's like, I'm going after this guy and I'm going to shoot him. It's just, I'm at that point where my kids they are everything to me. But I also want them to see me enjoying myself.
They see it.
I never had that with truly with my father.
No, I don't think anybody did. I feel like, I think it was like somehow it was maybe programmed in men for many years. Reason. If you're seen enjoying yourself, you're gonna somehow be exposed as not as tough or something.
Or not doing your responsibilities. This is like, if you're not earning, like, you're
once you're stuck enjoying yourself, nothing can ever be the same again.
Correct.
Right. I mean, you've been caught. You've been outed as an enjoyer of yourself.
I mean, my high school career wasn't, home life wasn't great. I mean, my mom kept everything together, but I mean, it was a constant state of fight or flight all the time. For the 4 years that we moved from Ridley Park to Chester County,
right?
It was a constant state of fight or flight, and it was rough. It was tough. I'm not going to go into the details because they don't. But just that alone, I never wanted to be that person to my kids.
Yeah, you're breaking those chains hardcore because you're having fun with your kids and you're being a good fun dad. It's refreshing to see.
As you know, like I bring my camera stuff and stuff like that to all the wrestling events. I do the same thing for my son's karate. So I don't charge them. Mm-hmm. I do it. I just take the pictures. I edit it for them. Right. I throw them up there. And I'm like, I don't need anything. My son's having fun.
Right. It probably makes him feel like a star too. Like,
oh, he's just ecstatic.
Yeah, like it's rad, dude. He's I can't say he's probably showing off and proud, but he's probably proud. But he has no frame of reference for a non-kick-ass dad.
I appreciate that. I took him to the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, by the way. Cool. That was awesome. Him just sitting there dancing, doing all these things, throwing up the We the Ones and all that stuff. Cool. Him chanting Sammy Uso.
That's probably awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a blast. But it wasn't until, say, about 3 years ago that I started to turn a corner on just paying stuff forward. Because, like, I've always told myself that if I was ever in a position, I would help out anybody I can. Mm-hmm. Even with my knowledge. Even if I can't do it financially, mm-hmm. I'll help them. I'll impart knowledge as best I can. Or
wait, so financially is an option? I'm just kidding. You've been giving me technical help this whole time. You could have been just helping me financially. Jeez.
So I you know what? I teach a man how to fish there, sir. But 3 years ago was the time, because I didn't. Again, I just, up until that point, it was just like my hobbies were, okay, I'll do the podcast and then I'll play video games, and maybe once in a while I'll stream. Go to work, do that.
Could you real quick?
Yeah.
Maybe this will be my knowledge. I'm passing this along to you. If you're on another person's show and you're talking about your podcast, then you got to be like, name of podcast, wink.
My podcast company is Projangers and Wall Hangers LLC. We have 2 shows on there. They are Triforce Podcast on every Tuesday. We record every Tuesday and then release it Thursday or Friday. And then on Sunday is the Lug Nuts Podcast, where my partner Matt and his brother Steven will talk about anything car news or like F1 racing or I don't know if they talk about NASCAR, but that's their gimmick. I enjoy when I stood up Projangers and Wall Hangers, I made 2 mantras out of that. No negativity and paying, and building other people up. And if you do those 2 things, you've done it.
What is the word? And explain to me what it means.
Projangers and Wall Hangers. Projangers is just a word that I made up. Okay. It is and it's just classic marketing. Is when you make up a word, it's the only thing that shows up Google.
Okay. How do you spell it, please?
Perjangers.
All right, there is it.
Projangers.
All right. Well,
I got the website.
I'm gonna have to have you type that out for me later at some point.
You can go to pjamdwh.com.
That's awesome, man. Have you ever had a wrestling podcast or anything?
We attempted to, but then the two people that were doing it had a falling out, so we just gotta just like let it go.
Well, that'll happen.
But getting back to that, it was 3 years. I made the decisions like to be good on that promise that I made myself, that if I was ever in a position, I would start paying it forward. And I bought all my own stuff, bring it to the events, and just say, hey, I'll do it. I don't care. I don't care what you pay me or if I get paid. It's just, I just want to help. And that's it. That's all I want to do.
That's awesome.
So sorry about the long-winded story about my life.
Oh yeah, I was so bored. Did you see me yawning the whole time? Oh my god, I couldn't wait for you to finish already. Oh, it's like 2008. Ugh. No, I don't even. I'm just. I'm like.
But now I'm trying to do things that kind of take that to the next level. Like, got a bunch of friends of mine. We stood up an LLC, and we're going to be throwing a Comic-Con on May 20th.
Oh yeah,
the Great Media Comic-Con at Media, Pennsylvania, and I'm getting an invite to play a game on my PC. The Great Media Comic-Con in Media, Pennsylvania, May 20th, and it will be the first Delco-based Comic-Con in media ever. And we already got actors and actresses and vendors already lined up.
Cool.
And we would love to, see if we can get you on there.
Oh yeah, it sounds awesome. Sounds great.
We already got the place already like scaled out, and we're just waiting on a couple other logistics. Might have like a Magic card tournament. Might have a video game tournament there. Might do a panel. Don't know yet. We're just figuring that out.
Well, I mean, we could, maybe we'll talk off air about this, but I was going to say maybe talk to Dave about doing some cosplay.
I'm already ahead of you.
Well, I mean, I've been doing cosplay pro wrestling for my friend Mike at other conventions.
Yeah.
Like I've done Anime Next a bunch, and I've done like
I would say
a lot.
I would say this building wouldn't be able to do both because it's not as large. If it was the Chichester building, I would say yes. But this building.
Can we do comedy? Can we host podcasts, like live podcasts?
If you purchase the table, you could do whatever you want.
Well, yeah. I mean, like on a PA system is what I'm talking about.
You would have to bring your own like soundboard and speakers and stuff like that because they don't have that internally.
But you're saying you could.
You could if you bring your own powered speakers like the one that Dave's brings. Yeah.
Good to know.
They're about $350 at Best Buy. You only need one. Or a sound bar. That'll work.
No, my girlfriend has the Fender box.
Like the karaoke machines?
No, it's well, I guess it's like a
similar.
Karaoke machine.
Yeah.
God, why can't I remember what it's called? It's just got like 2 speakers on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Pop up little gigs and stuff here and there, like when she does coffee shops and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would work. That would work. I mean, I have. Let me see. Pull this up. I have that little sound bar right there, and that kicks like if I crank it up to full volume, it shakes my house.
You want the shaky house? That's not enjoyable music. Shaky house music.
What's your biggest like you're talking about music? What's your biggest music genre?
Oh man, I don't know. I would say probably rock, but then I throw in a bunch of just like feel good sort of chill stuff.
So I think we're on the same wavelength. I listen to my go-to is rock, but I find myself lately I listen to video game music soundtracks. they're so well done, like especially the ones for Final Fantasy and like Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger. They're so well done that they just flow. I challenge you to listen to Final Fantasy VI Balance and Ruin.
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm gonna lose that challenge.
I challenge you to Final Fantasy VI Balance and Ruin. So a group of people from on the internet, ocremix.org, they took the Final Fantasy VI soundtracks and expanded it, and they remixed some of the songs that were just like from because Final Fantasy VI was on Super Nintendo, so it's all that MIDI stuff. They upped it and revamped it, and it is a killer soundtrack. They got songs in there that sound like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Cool.
But I love that. I love that music just because it's very soothing.
Yeah.
My son gets a kick out of it too. He dances in the living room.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But of course, like
pop.
He'll be 7 in May.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, a soon-to-be 17-year-old on Valentine's Day, and then a 21-year-old in September, and I have a 27-year-old stepson. So full house.
Full house, yeah, a lot. Whew. You're like the cab driver in Total Recall. I got 9 kids to feed.
I remember that too. Oh man, that's a movie. The original, not the remake.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about that.
Did you know? Did you?
I don't think I've watched the full remake, but
I didn't even give it time. Did you know there's a cool little factoid about that movie? Michael Ironside. Yeah, Michael Ironside was in that movie as well. And he, at the time, his sister had cancer. Okay. And then Arnold found out about it and started recommending nutrition and guided based nutritional steps for her to like eat, because it would actually improve her health and beat the cancer, which she ended up beating the cancer, that go around, but it eventually came back, and sadly she passed away, but she did live a longer life because of it. That's a neat little factoid about that movie, that if it wasn't for them two coming together, you have to be put there for a reason.
I have to say, I hear that, and I hear like Arnold Schwarzenegger has made such an impact on people's lives.
Yes.
And he is so caring that he is also trying to pay things forward. And I was just talking about the other night. I was back in like 2011 before I had all the brain stuff.
Okay.
Leading up to that, I was probably like at the point, like the best shape I had been in right at that point, because me and my friend Steve were training by going by the Arnold book. But
okay.
But it was like a couple days a week I would get a little pukey. I would feel a little nauseous and a little pukey. But
okay.
I was maybe like, oh, maybe I'm just pushing myself too hard. Maybe I'm just pushing myself a little too hard. And then I had that seizure. I go like, if I never had that seizure, and it went untreated, I would have died when I was 32, and I wouldn't have known about it. So I feel like Arnold saved my life in reading the encyclopedia and like following it and like maybe pushing myself a little bit too hard. But like, I'm glad I did, because like I get to be here now for all this bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't take anything for granted. You talk seizures. Oh my God. I had childhood epilepsy when I was a kid. So there were certain things that I could not do or touch or eat. And the fact that I'm still living here is amazing, because my mom told me about a story about when I was 2 or 3, I had a seizure and I was given CPR by my father, brought me back to life. By all rights, should have been done. That's wild to think. Now, I don't have any memory from like 5 years to 3 years, because whatever happened killed my memory.
I don't know if a lot of people do.
So
I don't know if a lot of people can remember stuff from when they were 3.
I tell my daughter that. She's like, "You don't remember anything under 5?" I'm like, "No." And now like 6, 7, and 8 are starting to get a little shaky. So
I still remember things from when I was 3, because when I was 3, my mom took us to California, and like we went to Disneyland and stuff.
That's very pivotal.
So I remember all that stuff very clearly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't like piece it together sequentially, like chronologically in any way.
It's just weird how our minds work now, because like you look at, before the advent of the internet and cell phones and all that stuff, I still remember my friend's phone number when I was in middle school. I still remember his parents' phone number. So, but I remember my mom's work number to the lab at Riddle Hospital. Like weird things that stay in your mind forever, because you just had them ingrained to use them all the time.
Yeah.
It's just
wild. I remember a time when you only had to punch in 7 digits. You didn't even have to put the area code.
Oh, I remember that.
And then saying it out loud for the first time right here in this moment, I've never felt older.
92, 93? That's when
I mean, I barely remember, but I do remember it. I mean, I was a kid. I was a little kid. I wasn't on the phone very much as a little kid.
I think it was June 92.
Maybe I made 2 phone calls in my whole life when I was 2.
7-digit phone number. Elko. I'm Googling that.
You are definitely Googling it.
Yes.
I don't have the attention span to Google everything I always think of, and I can't remember exactly, and still continue to have a podcast, or you know what I mean? Like, you can't continue to have a conversation, and I'm way too distractible to keep up with the chat on the side of the stuff. Like, I've been on some people's podcasts, and they're like, you can tell they're distracted by everything that's on the screen. And it's like, are you even paying attention to me? We're trying to have a conversation, and let me.
So the stats are, all of PA was required in 1999, but I distinctly remember me living at Ridley. So that would put it between 90 and 93. Because I remember I had friends in Philly at that time, and we were still using 215.
I remember it was right around the time we moved from my grandmother's into like apartment without my grandmother. Because that was why I had to know it, because I had to learn a new phone number. And I imagine that was probably 93 or 94. Yeah.
I remember 93 because it was before I moved to Chester County. That's how I remember my stuff. It's like pivotal times when you move.
Yeah, there's
moved like 4 times in my life.
Yeah, there's landmarks. They're little checkpoints for you.
Yeah, they're quick saves. That's what we call them now.
Yeah. It's I gotta pull up my load game.
Yeah, it's I hit a checkpoint. Thank you.
Yeah, another cool way I always do it, and I'm just lucky. Like with the year I was in school, like everything was like I was in first grade 91, second grade 92, third grade 93. So like everything, I'd be like, oh, what was in 96? Yeah, I was in sixth grade. I was 12, 13. Like that's kind of a quick save in my head.
So you made that statement about feeling old. I graduated in 97, so
All right, yeah, but I mean, just because I feel old doesn't mean you have to feel super old.
To feel older? No, I think I move around pretty good for being 44 or 44 this year.
My oldest brother, who I was just hanging out with before I came in to chat with you, he graduated in 98.
Okay.
So you guys are like the same age or whatever. But maybe he's a little bit younger.
So I was born in 97 and graduated.
You were born in 1997?
No, born in 79. I'm sorry. Born in 79.
You look
hang
on. You look terrible.
I know I look terrible.
What are you?
I like long walks in the park and fresh flowers.
You're too young to look this old.
Born in 79, graduated 97, so my year is flipped.
Yeah. Check that out.
So in 2000, I was 21.
I gotcha. And also, I remember my little sister being born in 95.
Okay.
And so I measure things a lot off of that as well. Like in
my stepson's born in 95.
Excuse me?
My stepson is born in 95.
Oh, cool.
So my left shoulder decided to pop out 12 times, and then in 2001 I decided to go for surgery. We talk about having seizures and how I say I've done this twice.
Me doing this though, I feel like I'm the kid from Rookie of the Year, Henry Rowan Gardner.
Yes. Float it.
Pitcher's got a big butt.
Yeah.
Pitcher's got a big butt.
Showing the good stuff. Anyway.
So you would just kind of like when I kind of said something to you right before you were going to have the surgery, right? Like I said something to you about like, let's do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you were all...
I was a little antsy.
You were all, nah, brah. Can't do it. Can't do it right now, brah.
No, I mean, that Thursday that we originally scheduled was, I was just having a little bit of nerves. And the reason why I was having a little bit of nerves is because, rewind to 22 years ago, I had left shoulder surgery. And because of my history of childhood epilepsy, I told them not to give me Demerol, but the good folks at Taylor Hospital, I don't care. They could sue me. The good folks at Taylor Hospital decided to give me Demerol, which then invoked the seizure. So, and that was, I didn't see a bill, so I'm thankful for that.
Well, they just wanted to see what would happen, man. They were like, yeah, this kid might react to it, but he might not. You know what? Let's try it.
Yeah.
See if it works. We'll seize the moment.
I woke up to 5 doctors huddled around me like they're Johnny Bench. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is everybody just standing over me? They're like, you were walking around unattended. You had a seizure. We just checked your left shoulder. That's fine. Nothing happened with the repair that we did. but we just popped your right one back in place. I'm like, fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I had to. I count my blessings. There's been plenty of times where I thought, I should not be here.
Isn't waking up from a seizure the weirdest experience?
It is.
Like somebody telling you just had a seizure is the weirdest.
Because
it's the same as like somebody telling you just got knocked out. Like,
right.
Have you ever been knocked out before?
I have.
And then wake up and someone's like, you're just knocked out, dude. And I'm like, what? I was? Like, completely, it's gone.
Yeah, both like through anesthesia and actually being knocked out. I had someone in high school tackle me because I was covering home plate, and my head hit the rubber stop of the home plate, and
were you guys playing baseball at the time?
Yeah, we were playing baseball. Frickin' beans.
I feel like I'm not a good podcaster unless I ask you if the person tackled you because you were on home base and you were playing baseball at the time. Because if you weren't playing baseball at the time, something's wrong with that person.
I mean, it's not tiddlywinks, but yeah, I got knocked out for a good 10-15 seconds when my head hit, and so I totally get it. But I will say, me going under from my recent shoulder surgery was the best 2.5 hours of sleep of my life. I felt so great. I woke up, I was just like, man, I'm feeling no pain. I'm good. I got a nerve block in my arm, and it's just sitting there going like this, it's just like this. I felt great.
Nice. That's when you got to do a podcast, when you're high on that stuff.
Oh, I tease my friends about it.
You tease your friends about what?
I tease my friends about it. They're like, how's your shoulder? I was just like, I got a nerve block in my arm. It's more than like your limp, And he's just like, mother. But yeah, man, I think you're an awesome dude, man. It's good to see,
man.
It's good to see someone, do good.
I'm still doing it, man. I'm still doing it.
I'm trying. I'm just trying to be better than the day before.
Well, you see, that's a good thing, to be better the next day.
Yeah.
Than you were the day previous. Yeah.
I mean, that's the definition of a human. You should be learning something.
Real quick.
Yes.
What's the name of this podcast again?
My podcast or your podcast?
This one.
Evolving with Cory Kastle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, how about that?
See, we slipped in a message even without it, But your last match at DCW, it's amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure calling that match.
I want to see it one of these days.
I mean, I get my edits out like within 3 days, but I don't have the footage. I'm trying, man.
I'm totally okay with that, too. Dude, anytime, even if something's awesome and you can tell me it's great, somehow in my head, back here, little egg.
Oh, yeah, I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
Yeah, well, what does that person know? They've never had a match. Like that is the voice that like automatically meets me and goes like, I'm not exactly on my path that I want to be on. I could be better. And that's it's my obstacle that I'm very aware that's there.
I'm the same way. Like when people tell me about IT stuff, and I'm just like, my initial thing is like, well, did you do this? And it's like, no. But then what do you know? Like, and then I have to get. That's the part about getting out of my own way. Is like, just let them speak. You might learn something, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, man. It's what do you got going on? In the. I mean, I'm going to see you on the 18th.
Yeah. I'm gonna defend my championship. I brought it right here in this room, right here.
That's a nice belt, by the way.
Yeah, dude, this is like this is for sure like my favorite belt I've ever had in any like company I've ever been, given a belt in, or any held a belt in. And what's interesting about it too is like that when you hand it to somebody, it's heavy, and then they're like, "Oh my god, this is real."
Yeah, they're like
that's a cool thing about having this belt. Like I haven't handed it to a bunch of people, but the few people that I have, I'm like, ugh! Like my family and stuff.
What do they think of you getting that belt? Are they excited for you?
I think they're in their own way, whatever. Okay. Like, all right, you're a winner. You're a champion.
It's good that you're playing with the boys.
Go ahead. Go ahead. That's your thing, go ahead.
I wholeheartedly want to see
the only one in my family who's watched wrestling consistently my whole
Same
life.
here. Well, no, I can't say that. My brothers and I, we've watched wrestling. My older brother is finally getting back into it. He lives in Ridley, and like he thinks it's pretty badass of me to go to all these independent promotions and just be a part of the world. Like I'm like, I'm doing nothing. All I'm doing is talking. You know, I can do that. I mean, like, I can be a jackass. You can put me as a character in front of a camera. You give me a script. You give me bullet points. I'll do it. Like, you know, I'm a camera whore. So let's just, I don't care. But as long as it pushes the storyline and the narrative forward, I'll do it.
Well, think about this. As just like, let me put myself as like a kid when I was a wrestling fan who is just a fan of wrestling.
Yep.
To get to be around it and not to have to pay to be around it.
Exactly.
Was a huge deal for me when I was first jumping in as a kid. But like to be somebody who fully has a skill and be able to offer that is probably pretty awesome. To be able to feel that.
And to that effect is the reason why I do what I do, like I'm not going to get into the ring and tussle with anybody. I know that for sure. Can I take a quick bump and do that? Sure. If it will push a storyline, fine. Will I put myself in that danger consistently? No, because I am way too old for that right now. But the skills that I do have is like, if I can improve someone's product and get more eyes on it, then other like bigger companies will sponsor them on YouTube and they'll get their income that way. I want everybody to get a piece of whatever that pie is in the sky that we're all just searching for, because I believe there's enough money to be out there to make for everyone. You just got to put in the work.
Just got to keep beating your drum, man.
I agree.
You got to stay consistent with your shit.
Which is why with Richard, I tell him about all the camera and the tech stuff and, improving like software. All that stuff that I bring is free. It's free. And I just like to have fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that the business needs more people around it like that. And I definitely think that like there should be I've been saying this for years. There should be some sort of way to treat wrestling with like the regulations that athletics have, where like there can be like some like maybe some grants, some like real money that goes towards wrestling.
Yeah.
So like it's not like we're just doing this because we love it. Like there's got to be more to it, that like we're financially actually like leaving with something, you know, instead of leaving with kind of nothing left from, you know, getting yourself to and from there.
Yeah, and the toll that you put on your bodies as well. I mean, you only have so many bumps on your card.
Yeah, man, my bump card is high in capacity.
It's tacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I want to do. If I and you know, help put on a better product. Like I said, better than the day before.
I think if I was like really truly honest about it, I probably have like 5 to 10 years of bumps left still.
Okay.
Somewhere in that.
I mean, your style will evolve.
Yeah.
As you get, with each year that passes, because you'll find out, like, maybe you'll do slightly more resting holds, or change from a technical submission to, just to have that ability, to have that longevity. Because, as we've seen, I don't know, did you watch the Rumble?
Yeah.
I mean, that storyline, for the Bloodline, that was well told.
Yeah.
Very well told.
Well, yeah.
And you know what? There was no wrestling moves at that end segment. It was just story, and story will put asses in the seats.
Well,
always does.
When they were kicking the crap out of Kevin Owens and he was handcuffed to the rope, those were kind of wrestling moves. Those wrestling kicks.
Those little super kicks.
Those little deeper kicks.
Yes, super kicks. But yeah, I mean, that whole, gotta give it to Jey Uso. That was masterful. Him and Sammy.
It's it's some next level shit, man. They're really telling some impressive stories.
And that's where I want to get. So, like, on purpose, I'm watching, like, I started like 3 months ago. I started watching 96 WWE, and I just let it play at work, while I'm working.
I was just thinking about this. Just yesterday or the day before, about like when we were trying to be wrestlers, when we were wanting to be wrestlers, and there's other stuff filming around us, like CZW was happening around us. We could every once in a while get our hands on a video camera and film some promos at the school or whatever. But like now we've got cameras on us at all time. Any times, like any time of day, got cameras on us. Like we could really kind of make like something that equals what ECW was.
Yep.
And it's like, and I was also thinking about, there's got to be a way that we tell fans you're not allowed to bring cell phones in our shows. Like, leave your cell phones in your cars. Because
I have a way that could happen.
We get the little bags or whatever.
No, you can get a cell phone jammer.
Well, like
it actually blocks the device and stops it from sending.
Well, I mean, like, people get too busy looking at their phones and not paying attention to the matches. Like, there's got to be a way to.
You say that, and it is a. So I said this to my wife. It's like because I have my wireless charger in here, okay, And I do not take my phone into the bedroom. One, it's a device and it distracts you from shutting your mind down. So with that thread, I do not like that's hitting like heavy for me because I try. I don't like TVs in bedroom, like in my bedroom. And I keep my phone in my home office here, and I let it charge overnight, and I disconnect when I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you. People are too connected to their device.
But like, it's weird because I think like the thing is like people used to bring a bunch of signs to wrestling shows, like like there used to be lots of signs, but now people can't hold a sign and hold their phone at the same time.
Yep.
So
you look at 97 WWE, there was signs all over. It was crazy.
Signs can't exist now unless look, me and my brother Matt went and saw Bill Burr back in September, and they had these.
I heard that was an amazing show.
They had these little bags we had to put our phones in when they all had our phones locked up, and they had to use a tool to open it to get our phones back at the end of the night. But we all got to hold on to our phones. If all pro wrestling just adopted that exact thing, but they want to be able to say that they're trending. They want people to be able to take pictures and say they're there because they want their social media presence. But it's almost like the mystique goes up some when it
correct.
We could.
Well, I mean that's
make it mean more.
Talk about kayfabe being dead. I mean, that's part of it. Is everyone is a critic, especially, and let's just Twitter's a dumpster fire. I'm calling that as it is. I don't go to Twitter to be entertained. I go to use it as a tool. I don't. Same with Facebook. I use it as a tool. Yeah, I'll post the occasional, like, here's my son, here's my kids. Hey, come see the next wrestling show, February 18th, down Maridale Fire Company. But I don't do the personal stuff as much as I used to on those platforms, only because the line, you'll recognize this line, Fight Club. The things that own you, the things you own start owning you.
Yeah.
And it is a wholehearted fact. Like, there was a period in my time where I was like, I just had to have the new console or game or whatever it was. Now I'm having more fun going outside and, doing these events. I can't wait for me to get cleared for rehab, which, by the way, I had my appointment. My shoulder's good. I can start doing minor exercises, like, so I can just like go like this and like lift it above my head until I hit the tension, and then keep doing that. And I did 4 weeks. But once I'm cleared for rehab, I'm going to again go all in on myself, putting the cards on me, showing my son that you can do great things.
Have you ever thought of like trying to be a ref or anything?
I can, that I don't mind that skill set. I just love I love yelling, I
was going to say with the bad shoulders, both two shoulders, that ref skill set might be kaput.
No, I'm good. Like, this shoulders works fine. Like, I can lift 75 pounds on this shoulder. So, with very little effort.
Ooh, he's a strong boy.
I'm a strong man.
Ooh.
I'm no girly man.
75 pounds, huh?
Just my arm. Yeah, I don't have a problem with putting in the work. But I'm going to take that to the next level once I get cleared for therapy. And who knows? For you, Cory, I'll take a bump.
Well, you see, I was going to say, you have to make it worth the value. The risk has to be worth the reward. So if like you're like, oh, I'll take a bump if it calls for it, and it's some nerd who's never been there before, who's never coming back, who might hurt you, you know? So like you'd pick it instead.
No,
somebody I know.
So the last bump I took was for TJ Reno and Cory, and it was they allowed me to call the spot, so everything was in my control. So so Boom Harding, this was Labor Day weekend, I believe. Went there. I was a heel manager for TJ, and then the spot was that TJ and Zach petered out, and I got left in there. Caught. Boom put me in the corner, and I said, just go for it. So he gave me 5 knife edge chops to the chest, and then Cory ripped my shirt open and gave me another chop on my chest, and I took the bump and then rolled out of the ring. But it was all I was in control. So that's where I would be. If I'm in control of how I could take the bump, then I'm fine. And that's playing it smart, because I'm not you guys, but I know what I'm capable of, and I know what limit I can push. I'm willing to go there if it needs to be, but all if it's going to push a line, push a story forward, if it moves the needle. I'm not just going to take a bump for no reason. There has to be a payoff.
What's the payoff? Where's this leading? I need long-term storytelling.
Well, even during that match, like Cory was, saying "nice shirt, jackass," and and I was just yelling at the crowd. So by the time I got those chops, the crowd was just the match before was just the crowd was dead. Mm-hmm. And we were the second match in, and once that spot happened, it became from a singles match to a tag team match, and the crowd was just lively. So we got the crowd into it. People got more, we got more tickets in, more people, and that's the payout was there. So it helped, and it was a charity show at that.
Yeah, charity. Hell yeah.
I do lately I just don't like to talk. I don't like to toot my own horn anymore, because if I'm going to do anything, I'm doing it by action. But if there was a storyline that presented itself, I'll gladly take a bump for you.
Well, thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna try to not take too much advantage of that.
Well, I mean, actually, with the 18th coming back, I can actually wear my sling, and then can injure me. Well, your face now, you can't do that.
Yeah, can't do it. This is the weirdest time, and this is funny. I was just talking about this yesterday. This is the weirdest time for me to be like a baby face and still simultaneously being like kind of like a
anti-hero.
I'm kind of like a real baby face too at the same time. Like where I'm like, all I want to do is like inspire folks and like help people heal and have actions that are productive towards growth. And before, if you would have asked me like a year ago what I want to do, and I'd be like, oh, I would just tell all the fans that they suck and they don't matter. But then, and now I'm like, oh yeah, but they like really do matter, and we need more of them.
Yeah, you have to get a reaction out of them. Good or bad, you have to get a reaction out of them.
Yes,
they either hate to love you or love to hate you. So,
well, like I made them hate me for so long that like they eventually saw me making them hate me for so long that they kind of just turned me organically.
Yeah, you definitely did a Stone Cold flip. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Well, like the thing also, like the whole stuff with the spark, like that kind of wasn't working out because of other people's schedules being so,
sporadic.
Yeah. So like their date books are filled up with conflicting things all the time.
Gotcha.
So I want to say at this point, I'm going to ask you at this point to just ask me all the questions. And this is your show now.
All right. Favorite video game growing up?
No Mercy.
Ooh, all right. All right. So No Mercy when they did the Mankind, Mick Foley storyline against Kurt Angle. I remember that one. And then they also had the Stone Cold in there as well, because No Mercy was 90. No, it was 2000. It was 2000.
Yeah.
No. 2000. No Mercy was 2001.
2001. Okay.
Because WrestleMania 2000 came out on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Favorite movie when you were a kid?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
All right. Favorite movie now? Or the one that you've seen in the last 5 years?
Step Brothers.
Oh, yes. Do I have it here?
I bet you that's not 5 years, but still, like, that's more current.
It's more current. My balls are on your drum case.
My drum set's a guy, so that makes you gay.
I have that shirt. I have that shirt, the Road to Catalina Wine Mixer shirt.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's awesome.
We already talked about rock. Your music is your go-to. Best movie that improved or changed your thought process. I'm getting into the weeds here.
You're getting into the what?
The weeds.
The weeds.
Movie or book that changed your thought process or made you think in a different perspective.
Maybe the Da Vinci Code, the book.
Okay.
I'd say maybe that. Dude, I always bring up this book, and I suggest people read it all the time. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of the author is. It's the same guy who wrote Rambo, but he wrote a book. He wrote a book called Creepers, and it's a novel about people like who pair up into teams and go inside of abandoned buildings.
All right.
But I would always suggest anyone reads that book. It's a cool novel.
Okay.
Probably my favorite novel.
I'm going to give you homework for this one. Movie that hit home for me was Life as a House. It's Kevin Kline, Hayden Christensen. It is a well done, well narrative movie. It's got a lot of message to it.
So, Life is a House.
Life as a House.
Life as a House.
Correct.
All right.
Challenge you on that one.
All right.
Outside of yours, favorite podcast?
You Made It Weird.
You Made It Weird?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pete Holmes podcast.
Okay. Favorite comedian?
All time or alive?
Do both. Do all time and then do current.
I'd say all time's Mitch Hedberg. Current is
that's a throwback right there.
Current is I would say Brian Regan.
Okay.
Or Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. I enjoy Bill Burr.
Or Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle too. Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura.
Tom Segura for sure.
2 bears, 1 cave. Man, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna still do this podcast. I'm not gonna ever stop doing it. I see this being something that's way more important towards how I make my money, for sure, in 5 years. Even before that.
Okay. And then what's the biggest thing you would have been able to tell yourself 20 years ago or 10 years ago? That knowing what you know now.
See, what's weird about it is I wouldn't act on shit. All right. So I would have to say that, like, and my advice to most anybody would always be stop comparing yourselves to other people, because other people are them and you're you. There's absolutely no way that they can be you or understand anything about you. Like, and I'd say that to myself. I'd always say, like, oh, stop comparing yourself to those people, because none of them are also comedians. None of them are also podcasters.
Yeah.
None of them are also brain surgery survivors. None of them are also the third born of 8, and none of them also were single parent. Like all of it, like none of any of this stuff that I've got going on is what anybody else has going on. So for me to sit there and waste any right nows on comparing myself by going, somebody's got this and I don't have that, it is silly, because what is all the cool stuff that I've got that they probably don't have? And maybe like success and scratching every itch isn't the ultimate answer every time.
Well, let me evolve the question a little bit. Okay. Names. What would you say something uplifting to your younger self if you had the chance?
I would say stay who you are and you'll be who you want to be. Because, like, all the decisions that I made and everything that I ever did led me to be who I am right now. And this
exactly,
right now,
exactly, and that's where I was leading you. That's where I was leading you, because I say this to my daughter all the time. If you're going to fail, because she comes up to me, she's like, "Daddy, I failed my test." I'm like, "Okay, but did you learn something?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, then I don't care if you fail as long as you learn. You know, if you're going to fail fucking big as long as you learn equally, you know?" So it's, make it monumental. But I just when I was having this conversation with her, I was just like, yeah, something broke. It was my fault. I said, yeah, it's my bad. I just didn't put this here and this here. And it broke like multiple workflows of my company. But you know what? I fixed it in 5 minutes and everything was fine. And I just said, my bad. I didn't count for that. Sorry. And life went on. Right. It's one of those things. What's one thing you wish you would have done in your life?
One thing I wish I would have done in life?
Yeah. Or like is on your list to do?
Dude, I don't think I'll ever do it. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I don't think I ever will, is learn how to play guitar. I just am not musically inclined. Like, I have no rhythm. Like,
I'm not musically inclined.
Do you remember in The Jerk where he was like tapping his toes and he's like, I got it. And then he like had that jerky dance. That's me. All of life. I don't have any rhythm at all.
I mean, I have a decent amount of rhythm, but only to the point where I'm like, doing the Carlton at weddings. That's me.
You just heard me singing Fuel I sing like a goof. Like it's all just me being silly. None of it's sincere musical talent. I beat a drum that I have no rhythm on. But the point of me beating the drum is that there's a drum and I'm being consistent. Like that's the whole idea. It's not that I'm good at it.
I don't want to work. I want to bang on my drum all day.
Right. Yes. That's exactly how it is.
See? My biggest thing is one, you said it, don't be afraid to be yourself. But in order to be yourself, you had to go through the ick to get there. And I tell my middle daughter that all the time. I'm trying to impart that knowledge on my oldest daughter. It's a little difficult with her on the spectrum, but she's getting it now. She's starting to turn that corner. So,
a thing I will say often, and if I've ever gone and done any kind of like seminars or any kind of workshops at schools or wrestling schools or wrestling gyms, I always talk about like what you've got and how much you should be grateful for everything you have right here and right now. Like my first wrestling school and a lot of people's first wrestling experiences involved a piss poor put together homemade ring that hurt and and had like crap ass ropes, and it evolves. But if you start out and it's all good, be grateful that you didn't have to go through that struggle first.
Yeah, I know a couple places like that. I do. I'm not going to name them, but I know a couple, and I'm just grateful that I get to meet some really kick-ass people.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you're the one doing it. I'm not introducing you to kick-ass people. You're meeting them on your own.
Yeah, but it still feels good.
Good.
It still feels good. And the fact that I get to bring, I brought my oldest daughter to the last wrestling event. So she's seeing me do all these, setting up all the audio video stuff and doing all, putting. So the last event, the camera people didn't show up. So luckily I had 2 webcams in my, in my bag because I bring everything. And I'm like, can you mount this up there on the basketball hoop? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. And I'm just like, here's a USB extension into the laptop and it's recording. Yeah, it's, I'm like, can you convert this audio file? Yeah, I can do that too. Because they wouldn't play on their DJ equipment. So I was like, throw it into my program, exported it to MP3. They're like, how do you do this stuff? I'm just like, you just got to give me 2 minutes and I can figure it out. Yeah, that's how I've always been. That's how I've learned at my current job. Like I had no experience in the, financial application, and I just got thrown into it. Saying, yeah, I'll try. And that's how I got promoted. And I'm still at that company.
All right, I'm gonna just a couple more things. I'm gonna ask you just a couple more things.
Yes.
Now, you off into the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake.
Sounds good.
All right. So many of the podcasts that you've done many, right?
Yes. 340.
And you probably been a guest on a few.
Yeah.
In your times. In all those appearances, what have you not been asked that you'd wish you had been asked?
Jeez. I mean, everybody knows I'm gaming, movie connoisseur, music. I'm good at 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. No one's challenged me on that. No, I'm kind of like, just ask away. Whatever you feel like you want to ask away. I leave everything on the table.
All right. So you've never had a topic that you've always had an answer like in the barrel, and you've
Not
never
necessarily in the barrel, just like, if I think about it and I give an answer, it's just, it's moment in time.
Okay. Okay, so this next segment I call audio time travel. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So
okay.
So how this platform, this audio, this video, this show is outliving us, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be here for, let's say, the next 100 years. How about 20 years from now, the people who love you most, your kids, all them kids, come across this recording? In these next moments, you're speaking directly to the people who dug this out to hear the timestamp on what Dad's like, what Chris is like right now. What messages are you giving?
Always chase your dreams. Know that I love you so much. Know that I'm always with you. And if you're going to fail, fail big. But know that I will be rooting regardless of whether you succeed or fail. It can only be you. I love you all.
All 100 of you.
my friend Matt makes the same joke. Me and my 47 kids.
I think it's very important that on the record I say some of the things that I say to you. Like I started out with letting you know how important it is that I recognize and I acknowledge you. I want to throw in there how much I'm happy to be a resource for you in any way. If I can help you in some way, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. If you ever feel like you have no friends, absolutely feel free to call me. I'm here.
I appreciate that, man. You have no idea.
And I'm optimistic about what our friendship's about to turn into.
I think
on the record, timestamp right here, right now.
Timestamped. It's 8:09 p.m. Today's date is 2/1/2023. The amazing Cory Kastle.
Now, with that being said, is there anything on the record important that you think is that you've always wondered about me, or any questions or like statements you've ever wanted to make to me? Right now is your chance.
I mean, I've said it previously, but just I find that you're the genuine article. Absolutely, the genuine article. Every time I see those clips of yours that pass through, and then I go through, just a real review of just all your clips. I'm just like, dude, he's 100%. This is him, man. And that's why that's why I just like, I'm gonna promote him as much as I can.
Appreciate that.
You didn't ask me. I just, I think people will, men especially, because you bring out a voice for a lot of things that are still semi-taboo.
Like
and
what?
I'm just being positive, and we talked about it earlier about like having in like with my father, he was not the fun one. It was just
well, like I think vulnerability is important, and I think that having fun and letting go and doing that would open up vulnerability, and that's something that we're very privileged now to have learned all about it, and it's very privileged to have had it this amount of time. But being safe is not something everybody has, and if you don't have it, find a place where you can be it. Find a place where you can be safe.
It's funny that you say that, because my daughter, my middle child, Emma, she is ceremoniously called number 2 from everybody at the podcast. But she reached out to me, and the fact that she was able to tell me these things, she has a friend at work that is having a problem with their home situation, and she just instinctively reached out to me. This is like, first she prefaces like, Dad, I know I'm coming to you because you're a rational human being, and you seem like you would be able to assess it properly. And she told me like the situation that was going on with her friend, and she asked if it ever came to be, could she stay here for a couple of days? And I said, absolutely, as long as a couple things are met, then sure. I don't want to get in trouble with the law, but to put them in a safe situation, sure, absolutely, I had no problem doing that. So the fact that you just said that about, not a lot of people have a safe place. It's
because if you're feeling lonely, don't.
Oh my Lord.
I love the genuine article. I think that's an important it's an important thing. It's something I've always wanted to be. Like, I never wanted to just appear that I'm genuine. I wanted to be who I am and show people that they can be all the way who they are too. And
a lot for me, I know I went into my past a lot here, but it's taken me a lot to come out of that shell, especially I think I've done 100 times more of that in the past 4 years than I have done the 20 years from the first, the birth of my first daughter to now. And while some may see it as unfortunate, I had to go through that in order to have that cathartic moment of like, I'm just going to change right now, and I'm going to do it for the better. And while I'm changing, I'm also going to pay it forward. So here I am.
Here I am, the one that you love.
Oh, you're doing all these quotes, and I'm laughing, and I'm drawing a blank on what song.
Oh, that's because I'm not good. It's because I'm not good. Now, if I like was on but like if it was the right way that song goes, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's absolutely the song. But when it's my shitty interpretation that has no musical ability to it.
Oh man.
Then understandably,
the door is always open for you, brother. I will say that.
Do you do any impressions, Chris?
I used to do impressions when I was younger. Wow, I just had a thought pop in my head. I had what was it? It's going to be 7 years in next month that I've been smoke free. By the way,
you've been what?
Smoke free.
Cigarettes?
Yeah, 7 years.
That
was a big thing.
Neat.
That just popped in my head because it's like it's.
What did you do?
I just went cold turkey.
Yeah,
it was time. It was just like, the reason why I did was because my current wife, she has MS. So
my mom has MS.
Same.
Sinks.
Yeah, it's found out that secondhand smoke actually causes flares for MS. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna quit. But I decided to quit on, of all weekends, Irish weekend down in Wildwood, and that was rough. I got through the first 24 hours and that was good. After that 24 hours, I was good. So,
I used to be a vegan.
Yeah.
Ask me how I quit.
How did you quit?
Cold turkey.
Man.
Everybody, thanks for joining me. If this is your first time checking out Evolving with Cory Kastle, and you've spent this much time with us, thanks so much for your time. I have to say, as often as I possibly can, and I hope it like sinks in. I'm fully fine with repeating the same stuff over and over again, because we as people consume so much stuff. The important stuff's got to be repeated.
Yeah.
The effort and the time has so much value to me. So if you've spent any effort, any time listening or watching anything I'm doing, or like coming across me and deciding that you're going to invest some of your time and effort, that's so important to me. If you can, in that time and effort, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, tell some people that this is value that they might need in their life or something. I'm fully, like I was saying to Chris, my DMs are wide open. Anybody feels like you've got nobody, please reach out to me. Please talk to me. I'm evolving with you. This is the point. The point is we're evolving together. So I'm not evolved all the way. I still have stuff I'm working on. Perfectly imperfect. Imperfect human with work to do. The work is never done. You
say perfectly imperfect. I tell Emma, don't ever strive for perfection, because perfection is just a moment in time. Because once you achieve it, you can never achieve it again.
Well, I mean, you know what? There's a little bit of that. We're already perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And
strive for excellence.
Yeah, we're already perfect. Like your brain is trying to out-perfect what your perfect already is.
Yeah. I strive to just be the best version of myself that day. And so sometimes it's watching One Punch Man with my son Connor.
What is the impression that you've got?
Man, I can't. I mean, everybody did a really bad Sean Connery when they were younger, so that was okay.
Do you have a Yoda?
Oh, Yoda's actually quite easy for me.
Well, in the catchphrase that we use to wrap up every episode, would you say, in your best impression of Yoda, be fun, have safe, keep evolving?
Keep evolving, be fun, have safe.
Thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you have a great night. Enjoy your
weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Happy birthday if that's today. If it's tomorrow, happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy Groundhog's Day tomorrow, too.
Always be loved, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be fun, have safe, keep evolving.
Like, subscribe, this man. He is an awesome dude.
Subscribe and be my fan. I love it. I appreciate the support. Be fun, have safe. Keep